I'm the Managing Director of Climate Energy Holdings, and one of our portfolio companies is Climate Energy Solutions. It's a company that does loft and cavity wall insulation around the home counties of England, and we invested in September of last year in the Wall Reform product, and we have exclusive distribution for a solid wall product.
This is the next level of insulation. For years, I've been in this business for over 20 years, and I've done all the cavities and I've done the lofts. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of cavities and lofts out there to do, but the next generation of insulation is solid wall insulation, and we have some 7 million properties that need insulating for a solid wall, and I think we're just quite getting right at the forefront of it.
Difference between solid wall and cavity wall is obviously there's no cavity, and one of the things that we have come across now in increasing numbers are people asking advice on how they treat a solid wall property. And obviously one of the solutions that we can now offer them is the Wall Reform product. So we think this is a huge market, we think it's got great potential, and we think that there are many people who would love to reduce their energy bills, love to reduce their carbon footprint, and the solid wall product is a great way for a large number of people in the UK to be able to insulate their homes and start reducing their energy bill and their carbon footprint.
I'm the solid wall training manager, so basically we have companies send their guys through who want to learn about the system, so we train them up, get them accredited, send them out on site, and I go out and check to make sure they're okay and up to scratch.
Wall Reform is a series of components. There's a phenolic insulating board that's applied to the outside of the property, and then Wall Reform, which is an insulating plaster, is then placed on top of that, and then there's a coating which can either be coloured, or it can be made to look like brick, or it can be made to look pretty much exactly how the original outside of the house looked, providing you with fantastic insulation properties that will start to reduce your energy bills almost immediately.
It usually takes, say for a standard 3-bed semi, we're talking about between 4 to 5 days to install.
A team of people who are qualified and trained will come in, remove any external fittings such as satellite dishes, external cables that may be on the outside of the property.
First off with the system is we put a board to the wall which is mechanically fixed, and then we take it from there.
It's a very simple job, little or no disruption to the homeowner, who's left with a property looking pretty much exactly the same as it did before we arrived, with the benefit that they can start reducing their utility bills with almost immediate effect.
You can do so many different finishes with this now. There are a multitude of colours that we can use as a finish with the granule finish that we use, which is about 3 millimetres thick. But we could also replace it and make it look like a brick-built house again. There's brick slips that we can stick on like tiles, or there's a brick render, which we actually apply the render and then cut the bricks out of it, and it looks like a brand new house. So we could make a house look exactly as it was once we started. It'll just look a lot cleaner and a lot brighter.
If you insulate a property, it'll come with a 20-year guarantee, and you've got 20 years worth of having invested in your property, and also starting to reduce your energy bills, which I think most people would believe are going to be going upwards rather than downwards over the lifetime of the product and the property.
People go out and buy double glazed windows, and they'll spend a mass amount of money on double glazing, and then they'll phone their friends and say, "Cool, you want to see my new windows? They look great." Nobody ever phones up and says, "Do you want to come and see my cavity wall insulation? It looks the bees." And then it's an investment. It's the finish that we put on the Wall Reform is going to make it that you don't have to paint your property for 20 years. So there's a maintenance issue there straight away, and you're insulating it, and you're going to get paid back. So you're actually saving money. Everything that gives you a payback is worth doing. You can call us direct on our free phone number. You can contact us on our website, and we'll send out a surveyor, and we'll come and look at your property and give you a quote for the works.
There's been a number of things. Obviously, energy bills have risen. We had, just recently 9% rises from some of the major utility companies, and that's, beginning to really affect people and their disposable income. The Climate Energy Group has a long and very proud association with the Energy Saving Trust. We have the advice centres, which we operate on behalf of them for the whole of the east of England, London, both north of the river and south, and Kent, Surrey and Sussex. And that's all managed from one large advice centre in Croydon, and we take in the region of about 2,000 calls a week, helping people with saving energy, saving water, and advice on transport. I think that if we take the mix of calls that we get coming into the Energy Saving Trust Advice Centre, probably 2/3 of the people are looking to try and reduce their energy costs, as opposed to being green and reducing carbon. But as I said before, the results are exactly the same. You reduce carbon and you reduce your utility bills at the same time. But I would say that the motivation for most people is saving money. The government has announced that they plan to run something called the Green Deal, starting in January of 2013. That legislation will go through Parliament next year, and then every homeowner will be given a grant or a loan in which to be able to do things to their property. And I think that at that point, with the publicity behind it, I think with everybody talking about it, I think that people are going to start to take much more personal responsibility for reducing their energy bill and obviously helping the country and helping the world to save carbon. I think I would advise anybody who wants to reduce their energy bills at home to call the Energy Saving Trust. There is a free phone number that puts you through to a local advice centre. That's the start of your journey to reduce money, reduce the carbon that your home emits. And there are some very simple things that you can do. Energy saving light bulbs should be used throughout the whole of the property. Make sure that you've got good draft proofing in place, and then start thinking about what else you can do to insulate your home. So why not put a hat on your house, insulate the loft, insulate your walls, and then start saving money and start reducing your carbon with immediate effect.